Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. My name is Olakunle Kasumu and it's great to be on the show. Once again, it's a special edition. In my hand here is a book titled Revolution of Accountancy Profession in Nigeria. History of the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, written by Olumuyiwa Sosanya. For a layman like myself, going through this book just made my eyes to pop. I had always heard about ICANN, but this book tells the story of how Olumuyiwa Sosanya fought his way through to establish an alternative body to ICANN. The alternative body, of course, like I've said, is the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria. What a story it is. Very insightful. What does it take to establish such an institution in a country like Nigeria, especially when there was an existing one that was well established? Well, you will find that story in this book that is an important history book in Nigeria. Well, we recently visited Olumuyiwa Sosanya, and what a time we had. You want to get to meet with him? Here we go. Enjoy this.
In order to break the monopoly of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria as the only professional accountancy body in Nigeria, Olumuyiwa Sosanya founded the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN, in 1979. Born on the 6th of August 1943, Sosanya is reputed for his doggedness in the establishment of the second professional accountancy body in Nigeria. But why did he choose the accountancy path?
Well, as a matter of fact, when I was growing up, I liked the way the lawyer dress, and my best choice was to become a lawyer. But I think it's providence. When my grandfather was being made the Baba Ijo of the St. Peter Ishara, I was the one that was recording all the money that comes in and the spending. At the end of the day, when I add everything up, the expenses and the income, those who are spending the money, just spending. At the end of the day, when I now put the two together, there was a difference, a balance on it. And my uncle asked me, "What do you think you have done?" So the man that was holding the balance now said, "Oh, yes, I have that balance." So there was an in-law of us, of our family, who happens to be an accountant, who is very close to us, saw it, and he told my uncle that maybe this man is going to be an accountant. Now, when he finished school, I think he should come and work with us. And that's how I become his staff when I finished secondary school. I couldn't remember the name of the street now. It's on the president about Macaulay. In fact, his office was directly opposite Lisha Biol in the Witumeta. That's how it started.
On if the profession is giving him any sort of fulfillment, the ANAN founder explains that there has not been any form of regrets since he ventured into accountancy.
Well, from the day I started working as an accounts clerk till today, I never regretted my being in the accountancy profession. Even during the work, my boss find that it's like this man was born to become an accountant. Because no assignment is given to me that is not done diligently and thoroughly. I know my going to UK, again, I was an accident, maybe Providence. We did a liquidation work with another firm of accountant overseas in England to be precise. Now, when we finished, the liquidator that came from UK, I think it was Tetanlai, Kwara. I was working with my boss, and the Englishman came, saw in me that this man was so thorough. And he asked my boss that, can we offer him articleship in UK so that I can come down? 6 months later, I received a letter from them inviting me to be article in their office. And that led to my traveling to UK on the 23rd of December 1966 to the article. In December 1979, a well-articulated and comprehensive Annan Proval, a case for Annan Bill brochure, was produced for the purpose of educating the members of National Assembly and other stakeholders to solicit for their support. Armed with the Annan Proval brochure, the first port of call was the National Assembly, where copies were distributed amongst senators and members of House of Representatives through their respective pigeonholes. The distribution of the brochure afforded me the opportunity of meeting with some senators and members of the House of Representatives at their official residence at Dobal Hotel, Amuwodorf in Lagos.
Omoba Sosanya digs into his book, The Revolution of Accountancy Profession in Nigeria.
One of the reasons why the book was written was that I felt I should put on record how Annan came into being. Now, in doing it, I feel that we do justice if I'm writing about accounting profession. It shouldn't be only Nigeria or West Africa. So I made a lot of research on how the accountancy came into being all over the world. So you find that chapter 2 of the book is on the accounting profession, how it came into being, from the Egyptian, the Greek, the Italy, British, and it get to America and came to Nigeria. And then I have a chapter there, which actually is based on West Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone. And the reason why I picked those 3 countries, we have, our accountancy is related because it originated from Great Britain. You have the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, you have the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Ghana, and then you have the Institute of Chartered Accountants Sierra Leone.
He narrates the battles he fought to get the Annan Act 76, formerly Decree Number 76 of 1993, signed.
The task of setting this up, I related that even though it's like saying war, but it's like one facing lion, and then you want to kill it. But I would say that getting the decree 76 of 1993 was like killing a lion, because what I went through, I think it's by the grace of God. It's a war that no man could fight alone, except you have the backing of God. And I would say that the Anan today is the creation of God. The Anan bill was to be the first ever private members bill in the annals of Nigerian legislature. I was enjoined by the leader of each of the political parties, MPN, MPP, UPN, GMPP, and PRP, to meet with the chairmen of the 5 parties to seek for their support. Due to logistic reasons, my meeting with each of the chairmen of the political parties was only possible with Chief Obafemi Awolowo, UPN, at his Park Lane, Apapa residence, courtesy of a member of the association who was the executive national treasurer of the United People Party of Nigeria. When we were about setting up the ANAN, Association of National Accountants, we thought it's a simple issue, that get yourself together, put publication in the newspaper, incorporate under law to make a legal body, and start practicing. But no sooner that the publication came out in the newspaper, the first person to react to it was the doing of accountancy profession, Mr. Akintola Williams. And his word was that that body, those boys calling themselves Association of National Accountants, the body will die a natural death. But we are not daunted. I think that statement became a challenge to us, that we now knew that we have an uphill task, that this fight has to be fought tactically. And we felt that we have to make lots of researches into the profession. Look at the weaknesses of ICANN so that we could sell the body to the public. And the first thing we did was to compare accountancy profession with law profession. The law of ICANN was enacted in December 1965. The law school was established thereabout. And going through records, at the December 1978, ICANN precisely, although they have membership who study overseas and were admitted directly, but the number of members that passed through the examination for that 13 years was only 45%. Whereas the same period, the law school produced 3,000 lawyers. So if you compare the two, ICANN was able to produce only 1.5% of what the Nigerian the law school have produced. So that gives us the impromptu that yes, we have a good fight. We have to say to the public, if we continue to develop accountancy in this level, then there will be a lot of fraud and manipulation, because accountancy profession is at the nerve center of the economy. And if you don't have people, qualified people to manage it, then there will be a lot of accounting fraud all over, which was prevailing at that time. And in fact, what was happening then was that majority of the accountants in Nigeria are foreigners. and we are not qualified. So that gives us an edge, and the public bought our arguments.
The renowned accountant shares his views on the notion that ICAN is more reputable than ANAN.
There's no truth in the saying that ANAN certificate is inferior. Getting through that one, ICAN is established by law in Nigeria. ANAN is established by law in Nigeria. As of today, the only two bodies that are recognized and they are members to practice accountancy in Nigeria, ANAN and ICAN members. So that shows there's no inferiority between the two. But talking of the market, I think the eating of the cake, I mean, is in the taste. What people are saying was applicable to when we're talking of Ibadan University, and you're talking of University of Nigeria in Nsukka, or Lagos University. When the Nigerian University was established in Nsukka, the same argument was made against them, that they are inferior, who are they? But the first examination, most of the graduates of Nigerian University in Nsukka, some of them became professor at the University of Ibadan. Most of them went to, in fact, it's in this book, in the foreword, went to Oxford and excelled in their PhD. Training of ANAN members is similar to that of law. You have your degree in law, and then you go through the Nigerian Law School, and then you have your practical experience, you become a member. So the same with ANAN. There's a Nigerian College of Accountancy in Jos that was established on 385 hectares of land, which was donated by the Plateau government during my tenure. In fact, the foundation was laid in 1983 by Governor Solomon La. And the college has been churning out quality accountants. In fact, we have students coming from some African countries. So if the standard is nothing to be if the standard is not good enough, people will not be coming from Cameroon, Sierra Leone, Kenya. So in terms of the education qualification, ANAN is superior. In practice, it's going to be difficult to quantify who is superior until when you engage them. And I'm sure ANAN is not inferior to ICAN.
But the experience of writing a book is entirely different from that of practicing or advocating for accountancy.
Well, the drafting started sometimes in 2012, and by January, I already have what I would call a draft script, which I sent to the then a friend of mine who lives in Uheli to go through, and he did it and sent back to me through courier service. And I decided, okay, let me get an opinion of a professor in law. The copy was also sent to Professor Inenga of Ake University. He went through, made some correction. In fact, I was the one who advised me not to use Audacity of Sosanya in order not to make it personal.
Revolution of Accountancy Profession in Nigeria is a 465-page memoir and history book with 21 chapters. The highlights of the book are the included archive documents and photos.
You know, like most people, I jump to the photos. As much as I enjoy reading, I just jump to photos. Once a book has photos, if it's an autobiography or memoir, I jump to the photos. But I know that it can be tricky picking photos for books like this, considering the fact that you usually have albums, photos in albums and albums. So picking the few to use in a book like this can be tricky. But I enjoy the photos in your book. There's this particular one, which I noticed you have also framed, 386, page 386. This is Babangida, right? What was happening here?
That was my presentation to the President Babangida during our visit in 1990. And the purpose of the visit, it was to complain about the amendment into the Company and Land Matters Decree of 1990, which was promulgated in January 1990, after, without the, what we call the Nigerian law reform, organized some seminar, and we have conferences. They received memorandum from all professional bodies, and they say that that law today, the way it was published in 1990, the content, about 75% of the content were from Anand's memorandum.
You did mention that this picture is related to the one in 389. You talked about the connection, right? Am I correct? This one and page 389. What was going on? How are they related?
That photograph, it was when President Babangida was challenging the Attorney General why he came late, because it was to be the part of the discussion.
No, it was supposed to be in this meeting.
In that meeting, but he came late.
Oh, okay.
So on our way out, after we've taken, if you look on page 388, we have a group photograph. As soon as we finished group photograph, we were about going, then we met him.
So Ajibola came in.
Babangida, come. The people are complaining about your law. And he mentioned sarcastically that they are not lawyers. How can they complain about law? And Babangida replied in the same tone that, but you are not an accountant. So that was what was going on on that page. But thank goodness, after our presentation, when the president was responding, he gave us a good assurance that from our presentation that the ICANN law itself, because we actually requested that, well,
This is where we have to end the show. As always, we'll be delighted to get your feedback through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. My name is Olakunle Kasumu. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.